Hey y'all, and welcome to Politibrawl. My name is Brian, and this CNN reporter is already circling the drain, talking insanity about Elon Musk, and then Scott Jennings sends her over the edge into a complete meltdown. Let's dive in.
Look, the first time that Elon Musk decides to declare that globalist Jews are responsible for the great replacement of brown people into the United States, maybe it was a misunderstanding. The second time he said that Jews are pushing hatred against white people, that's a quote, that was a little iffy. By the second Sieg Heil, I think he kind of loses the benefit of the doubt to be not accused of playing footsie with these Nazis. I'm not saying he's a Nazi. I'm saying the Nazis think he's a Nazi, which they very clearly did at this event. And these words were not said in a vacuum. As you pointed out, the leaders of AfD have embraced, in many cases, the Nazi heritage. They have wanted to take down the Holocaust Memorial in Berlin, saying it is inappropriate to recognize this horrific chapter in German history. And I just think it's horrific. I don't understand why this guy keeps getting the benefit of the doubt, whether or not he believes this stuff personally.
You didn't even mention the Nazi jokes he was making on Twitter.
Yeah.
That actually got
he's been given
ADL
so many
say
chances
about it.
Yeah.
I was hearing a lot of sighing. Scott, what's the deal?
Yeah, I mean, we've moved on from Trump derangement syndrome to Elon derangement syndrome.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want to defend his saying
the
Germans get to...
Let me let him finish, Catherine.
I love this game we play where you talk for 2 minutes, I talk for 3 seconds,
ahead,
and you
Scott.
freak out. So he has a long record of supporting the Jewish people, number one. Number two, anybody who is asserting this thing he did on the stage the other day was a Sieg Heil, which I just heard you say, lawyer up maybe, because absolute ridiculous thing to say. Under no circumstances.
The Nazis in Germany thought it was a Sieg Heil.
Under no circumstances
Heil.
was he doing anything other than expressing enthusiastically.
Why don't you do it on TV right now?
His appreciation.
Why don't you do it on TV right now if you think it's so?
Number three. Number three. I think it is fully appropriate, and I, of course, have been the strongest supporter of the Jewish people on this network for over a year, since October the 7th.
Is that true?
To remember the Holocaust and to remember the atrocities committed against the Jewish people. And I also think it's appropriate to remember the atrocities committed against them right now. And it seems to me, let me just finish my point.
No,
I
won't let you change the subject.
It seems to
Let's
me.
address what we're talking about.
I'm trying to finish my point.
As the Jew at this table,
I'm trying to finish my point.
I would say
the people who are most concerned about and most all over Elon Musk today have had nary a word for the Nazis on college campuses who've gone crazy for the last year and a half.
That is bull. That is bull.
Nothing.
I get it. You want to see terrible things behind every bush. You think that there's a boogeyman under your bed. As a matter of fact, she even wrote an article. Her name's Catherine Rampell, although Catherine Ramble would probably work a little bit better. And she writes for the Washington Post, and of course I pull up the article, but, democracy dies behind a paywall. But this is her tweet about that article, and, let me just spell it out for you here. When Trump declared that he'd be a day one dictator, he meant it. He's already announced plans to seize power that our Constitution does not give to presidents, including by seizing the power of the purse from Congress. Sure. Okay, let me spell something out for you for those who don't know. When Trump threatens to do something, he's really reaching over here so he can try to meet you somewhere over here. Okay, this is a basic tactic when you are trying to negotiate. Lawyers do it all the time. People the specialists who try to call down the suicide jumpers from the ledge, don't do it, here's why. Or, the people that go in and make sure that the hostages are going to be safe. Funny thing about that, Republicans and freeing hostages. But the reality is, this woman is being hysterical over nothing. And she even knows better. She even has another tweet saying that you should pay attention to what presidents say, what they do, way more than what they say. So she's smart enough to know that rhetoric is a tactic. And yet she is out here screaming her head off because Elon Musk did because this is what he did. Palm over his heart, flinging it out, head cocked to the side. Okay? I can't really show you from this angle, but that looks in no part the way the militaristic Sieg Heil salute, okay? That's supposed to be when you raise your arm perpendicular to your body. I'm not going to do it fully here, because unlike her, I'm not going to be bullied into doing something on air. And she was screaming at Scott Jennings, why don't you do the salute? Seriously, the levels of cope that these people are trying to have, and then they see Elon Musk, who is probably autistic, loves to meme, and is a little bit awkward. And he cocks his head to the side, does a weird arm thingy, trying to show his gratitude to everyone, and you're getting mad over that? That really is the worst thing that you can get mad over, isn't it? I seriously, that might be a good thing in the long term, because it means that what they've been screaming about is really just non-existent. Ultimately, these people are trying to find the boogeyman when there isn't one, okay? We are past day one of Donald Trump's presidency, and guess what? He has not been a dictator. If anything, he's been a bit of a liberator, trying to ensure that, hey, Americans are safe from people who have come here illegally and committed crimes, okay? That's a good thing, Catherine. Breathe. But she can't. She is not allowed to. She is not supposed to. She is supposed to be someone who is screaming, ranting, and raving so she can go back to her friends and say, I stood up to that bully Scott Jennings, and I told him what I really think of Donald Trump. Okay, you special little sweetheart, that's nice. Go up to your room now in your nice, secluded ivory tower and stay there for about 6 months, okay? While the adults are actually in the room and talking about the issues, she's screaming about Elon Musk. Okay? We're trying to tackle a mountain of debt here, and you're screaming about Musk. We are trying to deal with an illegal immigration problem, and they're screaming about Musk. Just name a topic, and you'd think that her breath would be better spent elsewhere, but no, she's wasting it on this because she has to go back to her friends. She has to go back and say that I did something. This is pearl-clutching, virtue signaling at its finest, or in this case, at its worst, and that's what a lot of these reporters have now ultimately become. And unfortunately for them, time's running short, because even CNN is realizing, we got to have more Republicans on the show. We got to give these people their say. And so once Tom Homan, J.D. Vance, other highline Republicans right now are making their case to these news outlets, the producers are now screaming, you can't say that. You have got to push them off the point. Because if for a moment the people watching CNN at home think for just an instant, wait a minute, that's what's actually happening? They might, for a brief moment, come to the realization that their 10 minutes of hate, from 1984, everyone likes to quote 1984, but let's be real here. What a lot of the media has become has been that little 10-minute of hate segment where you're supposed to scream at a TV at an inanimate object. It is absolutely bizarre, and they have to do this because if they for one moment break the facade, the people at home might start thinking. They might start questioning, wait a minute, things are really going to be okay, aren't they? These might even be improvements, wouldn't it? The people at CNN don't want that to happen. They love their narrative. They love the fact that they have been at the forefront of the mainstream media for so long. They don't want to give up that kind of power. And they don't want to give up on that narrative because they've been pushing it all their lives. So ultimately, it does not matter that Elon Musk did not give those naughty boy salutes back from the 1930s. He didn't do that. Okay? And instead of focusing on actual issues, by the way, her Twitter feed has practically shut off since Kamala Harris lost the election. It's been wonderful watching that. But maybe she should take a deep breath, take some yoga classes, and then Scott Jennings can continue to tell the truth, even though the CNN anchors don't want that to happen. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on Politibrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one, and until then, y'all have a good one.